Okay, so in this video, we're going to put together our Christmas tree box, and I'm going to begin by taking the base and just folding at the score marks here. So get both your pieces ready, and then we can go ahead and connect these two segments together by placing glue on this little tab here. Actually, it's a pretty large tab. So go ahead and get your glue on there and make sure that you get a nice amount of glue out to the edge so that we have a nice clean seam. And I'm just going to align it on my table here, making sure that it's nice and aligned up here, and then I'm just going to fold this tab over. Okay, so I have my texture side out, kind of working from the inside here. Okay, just push that down like so. And then we can go ahead and close it up by putting glue on this tab here, just like that. So we'll get this nice and closed up, and then we can go ahead and get the rest of it together. Now when you're putting this piece together, again, just make sure that it looks nice and aligned up at the top there, and that it's nice and aligned in the center here where these score lines meet. And just push down and hold that down. And technically, you can fold this flat to add more pressure. And it should fold nice and flat, and that's how you know that you do have it perfectly aligned. It shouldn't kind of bow anywhere at all. Okay, so that's that. And at this point, we can go ahead and start connecting these large tabs together. So I'm just putting glue in the center of that thing, and then doing a nice little thin line out to the edge. Okay, and I might have put a little bit too much there, so I'm going to just pop it off before it smears out, and just push that down and hold it into place. Now for some reason, this black cardstock, when I cut it, kind of didn't cut very cleanly. All the other colors seem to cut nicely, except for that one, which I don't understand, but it's okay. All right, so again, we're just going to work our way down the line here, making sure that you get everything nice and perfectly aligned. And we designed this box to complement the elegant ornaments that we created, and you can actually use it as a gift box for the elegant ornaments. Okay, so we're just going down the row here. There we go. And getting the next one in place. So as you can see here, I think you're kind of getting the idea of what we're doing here. But we'll go ahead and walk you through it, so that we don't leave anything unanswered and get everything nice and assembled. Okay, here we go. Next piece. And if it helps, you can always put it down on your table to apply more pressure, kind of doing it in midair, which is fine as long as you can handle that. Okay, last piece, well, almost. Putting glue on this tab here, and then again, nice little line of glue out to the edge. I've got a little bit too much there, so I'm going to wipe that off. Okay, and there we go. Just like that. Oh. There we go. And I'm going to push down on that one there. Okay. So that leaves us with one tab left. I'm going to tuck that under and get some glue out to the center here, and then a nice thin line out to the edge. And slide that under and get that glued into place. Okay, So there's the basic structure. And at this point, we can go ahead and put the lid on it, or actually the bottom, I should say. So you've got two pieces, one that has an L, that's your liner, one that doesn't have an L. That is going on the bottom here. And because this is kind of a bigger piece, I am gonna just start by gluing one piece down, because that is going to help ensure that we get everything nice and lined up. So grab that first piece, or grab the bottom and glue it to that first tab. Make sure that it's nice and aligned. Okay, so you should still be able to see that score mark, but just barely. Okay, so that's in place. And then we can kind of move that out of the way, flip these tabs up a little bit, and go ahead and put glue on all the tabs. And also, again, make sure that you get a nice flat line out to the edge so we get a nice clean seam. Okay, I'm kind of rushing through this. I don't want you to get bored, but you are going to take your time and go ahead and close that up. And hold it down for just a few seconds if you're using the Scotch Quick Dry, and let it get its initial hold. You'll notice that it will start to resist moving, but it'll still move. And once you kind of feel that resistance, that's when you can really start scooching things around until you've got it perfectly lined up. Okay, and then when you have it more perfectly lined up, you can go ahead and flip it upside down and push from the inside to really get it to hold. Okay, and then you can take your liner and just put some glue all over this thing here. And just pop it inside, just to strengthen it up. Okay, make sure you get it nice and centered in there. Okay, so that is that, okay? And now let's take a look at our final one here. As you can see, we've got these pieces here. I'm just gonna flip this over real quick. And the smaller ones, we actually emboss those with a wood grain to kind of mimic the trunk of the tree. So you can do that if you'd like. And basically what we're doing is gluing this on top of the larger piece, okay? And then we're gonna glue that to the bottom. Okay, so you're just gonna glue that like so, okay? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna glue two side by side, and you're gonna leave one open, and you're gonna glue two side by side. Okay, and I'll show you why we're doing that. So that is that. It's very simple. Okay, and now we can go ahead and build the main structure here, which is made up of 6 of these. Okay, and I've got my texture side out. You want to fold all of these out towards you, okay, except for this last one. You want to leave that alone. And actually that's going to get folded in, away from you, okay? So just like that. Let's get 2 of them ready. I'll show you how this works. It's actually very simple, but again, tutorials are key to making sure that you're able to recreate these projects perfectly every time. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna begin by just making sure that we've got those tabs folded over, and we're gonna connect these like so. But before we do that, I want to make sure that it's perfectly aligned. So I'm gonna go ahead and put glue on this little part of the tree, and I've got it flat because that's going to make it easier for me to line these first 2 up, and just kind of squeeze them together at this point here. And just make sure that you've got it perfectly aligned. Okay, and just hold that until it gets a good grip. And actually you can go down the line here if you want. Okay, so you can kind of open this up grab your glue and just pop it on the inside of this piece here, and then glue that together. Okay. And that's just going to ensure that this is perfectly aligned. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put glue on this tab here and pop that behind the other one and just hold that in place until it's nice and dry. Okay, so you can see kind of what's happening here. And you're just going to continue down the row here and glue all these together. Okay, so I'm going to skip these two because it's a pretty redundant process here. I don't need to show you all that, but I will show you the next piece so that we don't get confused at all. And you may as well leave this flat on your table, okay, because it's just going to make it that much easier to put this whole thing together. And then once we're done, we can go ahead and close this thing up. Okay, so you see how that's all going together. Okay, so again, just to ensure that we've got this nice and aligned, this next piece, I'm going to start with these because you know that you've got it nice and aligned if you can run your finger along that piece there and it stays for you and it's nice and flush with the other one. Okay, so again, you're going to do that with all these pieces all the way down, but I'm just going to kind of skip down here just so I can show you a little more quickly how this is going to go together. Okay, and then we can go ahead and put glue on this tab here and get that in place just like that. Okay, so we're going to repeat this process a few more times until you have the entire structure glued together so you can see what's happening here. Okay, now these, I didn't glue these, but you will be gluing them. So go ahead and continue that process until you get to the end. And actually, one other thing that I do want to mention is when you finally do have this closed up, that's when you're going to put your decorative panels on. You don't want to put them on beforehand because you want to make sure that the main structure is assembled before you do anything else. So again, I'm leaving this flat because it's easier to work with and it doesn't really make a difference because our tabs that were, well, they're not really tabs, they're actually a aesthetic piece that acts as a tab. Okay, but they're on the exterior, so it's kind of cool. It's a lot easier to work with that way. Okay, so again, just going down the row here. Oops, I was not patient enough with that piece, so don't jump the gun. Okay, so go ahead and do that until you have all your pieces glued like so, and just remember that you're going to actually glue every single one of these segments, and then I will meet you at the end of this process here where we'll go ahead and close this entire shape up. Okay, so I'm on the last leg of the assembly of these pieces here. Okay, and I'm just taking these tabs and again, you know, it really doesn't matter which one of these you start with. I think as long as one of them is perfectly aligned, the other ones should sort of fall into place. Okay, so I did go back and glue all of them because I want to make sure that everything looks the same way in the video as it does on your table. Okay, so I've got a few more here, and then we're going to go ahead and close this piece up. Very simple, just kind of repetitive, but not difficult. And if you turn on some nice music or have your favorite show on, this will probably just be a breeze and you won't even notice that you're kind of just repeating the same thing over and over again. But the fun part comes at the end when you get to embellish and put rhinestones or liquid pearls or whatever it is you want to embellish with. Okay, so I am just now putting a little bit of glue on that top little tab and popping this piece over. I'm kind of scooching it in a little bit. Okay, that piece is going to be covered up, so it's not a huge deal. Okay, so we've got our tree pretty much together here, and again, just doing the same thing here and putting glue on these guys here and closing it up. So again, this one's a little bit tougher because there's a little bit more resistance because you're kind of holding it up. But again, just run your finger along this piece, take a look on both sides, and just make sure that it's nice and lined up. And you really can't go wrong. We're going to go ahead and put glue on the next one and just work your way up. There we go. Again, just run your finger along this nice curve and just make sure that everything's nice and lined up. Okay, and then you can go ahead and also make sure that you fold these tabs up at the top as well and get glue on those and glue that to the inside. Okay, and then you can go ahead and create that little top part for it by taking this piece and just folding on the score lines as we've done so many times already. And there's one little segment that's a little bit smaller, and that is your little tab, and that is where we're going to place our glue. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of glue on this piece here, and of course we did ours in a gold foil just to be more festive. I'm going to go ahead and close that up and just hold that in place until it's nice and dry, or at least until it has a nice hold. Okay, so you've got your piece there, and then we'll go ahead and I'm going to just put a nice glob of glue in the middle there so that when it gets to that tip it'll hold, and then probably just a little bit of glue along the inside as well, and then we can go ahead and pop it on top of our tree. Okay, so you want to definitely put that piece on first before you start adding your panels. Okay, and as you can see, we've got 3 of these and 3 of these. I just grabbed whatever random paper I had, not really thinking too much about mixing and matching, just for the sake of this video. I just wanted to show you how this works. And you're just going to simply glue your panel into place like that by putting glue on the back of this and just gluing that down. Okay, and you're just going to alternate. Okay, so you're going to glue that down there too, and just remember to get it up to, just make sure that your panel doesn't go any higher than this little top piece here, and that you've got a nice even border all the way around. Okay, so that's that. And finally, we did devise a little latch system for this. Okay, so let me show you how that works. I'll show you the final here. Okay, so got a little latch system here. Just pop that in there like that. Okay, and that's made up of these pieces here. There's 2 of these and 2 of these, and it's pretty obvious how they go together. Okay, so we're going to glue that to itself like so, making sure that this piece is nice and aligned. And then you can fold it like so. And there's a tab here. So as you can see, it doesn't matter which side you put where. We're going to glue that to the inside like that. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let me go ahead and put glue on this piece here. Make sure that you get plenty of glue on there. And it does help to fold both of these pieces first before you do this. And then fold it back. We kind of fold it a couple times while it's drying. Okay, and we did emboss this with a wood grain to keep it consistent with these pieces, because eventually this little piece here is going to finish off that whole look that we have there for the trunk of the tree. Okay, so go ahead and put glue on this piece here. And with this one here, just follow the little slit to make sure that you've got it lined up properly. Okay. And as it's drying, go ahead and bend it just to make sure that it knows what its role is here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, you want to go ahead and on your final one here, you want to attach this to opposite sides, okay? Because there's going to be, so we're going to go ahead and put glue on this piece here and adhere that to the inside of one of these pieces, just like that. You want it nice and centered there. Just like that. Just hold that in place, make sure it dries. And then you're going to go to the opposite side for the other piece. And I'm just going to fold at the score mark there and grab some glue, pop it on there, and let's get that glued to the other side. On the inside, you want your texture obviously pointing out, and I'm flipping this over just to make sure that I've got it nice and centered, just like that. And I probably didn't give that enough time, but it should kind of work like that. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this piece. Okay, let me pop this out real quick so I can show you how that's going to look. Okay, so there's your two sides there. Just make sure that when you put the tree on, that the little strap is not on the sides where you have the panels that already exist. And this kind of keeps the whole tree together. You can actually lift it from the top so that it doesn't open up. Okay, so that is your Christmas tree box.
Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.